I like action movies. Blood, guts, karate chops, scissor kicks, shotguns, machetes, SMGs, car pranks, exotic locations, and beautiful women. But not all action films have heroes or even really anti-heroes. There are 3 that I've watched recently that are pretty much a hero-free zone. And that was refreshing. Without a viewpoint character you can empathise with, you can just sit back and enjoy the chaos without worrying about whether the person you identify with is going to prevail. You go on the ride of these movies and you don't have to worry about good versus evil. Sonny Chiba's character Takuma Tsurugi in the first Street Fighter movie is what we here in Australia call an ankle, someone who is much lower than a prick. At the start of the movie, he disguises himself as a Buddhist priest to visit a prisoner called Junjo, who is about to be executed. To help Junjo escape, Tsurugi applies an oxygen coma punch. Junjo passes out, and he is sent in an ambulance towards a hospital. Tsurugi and his annoyingly obsequious assistant Ratnose intercept the ambulance and help Junjo escape to Hong Kong by boat. Tsurugi meets with Junjo's brother and sister for payment. The brother tells him they don't have all the money. So Tsurugi tells him he's going to sell the sister Nachi into sexual slavery. The brother Ginjun tries to stop Tsurugi and ends up nosediving out of a window of the high-rise apartment they're in. Let's remember, this is supposed to be the hero of the movie, the guy who sells a woman to sex slavers, who then addict her to heroin to make her compliant. Yes, he does later save another woman, Sarai, the daughter of a deceased oil tycoon, from the coalition of Triad and Yakuza gangs who want her wealth. And yes, Tsurugi does rip the offending member off a potential rapist with his bare hand. He later has a confrontation with Junjo, who wants to get back at him for what he did to his sister, during which Tsurugi performs a manual laryngectomy on Junjo. When I first saw the Street Fighter, the ferocity of Tsurugi was something new to me. Sonny Chiba, along with the screenwriters Koji Takada and Motohiro Tori, creates an angry, aggrieved, amoral force of nature. The crouching sideways stance Tsurugi takes in fight scenes is great physical acting. The character himself is half Japanese, half Chinese, the son of a martial artist, whose heritage during and after World War II causes him to be shunned and ostracised. We see this as he challenges the master of a karate school that is protecting Sarai, and the man knew Tsurugi's father. Tsurugi's stance reminds me of a beaten, cornered animal who is about to strike back. The calculating fierceness and unexpectedness of his attacks makes Tsurugi endlessly watchable. I like the fact that he wears hankote as well as samurai armoured gauntlets to block blows. That makes it even cooler. But dude, selling a woman into sexual slavery is never cool, though it's good to see that he made up with Ratnose at the end of the film. Tsurugi does evolve in subsequent films, but that stone-cold slavery thing makes him chaotic neutral at best. Exploitation movie geeks will know the name Pete Walker. He was a movie maker who started out in London as a stand-up comic in a strip club, and he moved on to making short nudie films in the 1960s. He then made a couple of full-length movies, including a sexy crime thriller called The Big Switch, another movie called Cool at Carol, and then he decided to make an action flick for the American drive-in market, and that was Man of Violence, aka Moon. BFI have released it on Blu-ray as part of their Flipside brand, along with The Big Switch as a second feature on the disc. This is a low-budget crime flick, and it looks like it. It's filmed in Academy ratio 1.375 to 1, and it's clear there were times when Walker couldn't light his scenes very well. But one thing he does really well is pick locations for the movies. The locations are on point in this movie. Michael Latimer plays Moon, a mercenary who is hired to find out who is muscling in on the nightclubs owned by a northern building magnate, Bryant, played by Derek Francis, and hi to the Derek Francis who subscribes to this channel. Bryant's man in London is Nixon, played by Derek Aylward. Moon soon meets Grayson, played by Maurice Kaufman, a kinky gangster whose apartment seems to be filled with random naked women in the same way modern rich guys collect bear bricks. This movie is full of WTF moments. Right from the credits at the start of the film, which spend a crazy amount of time focusing on the belly button of one of Moon's women. At the end of the credits, it gets crazier as he shoots her in the tummy with a water pistol full of tomato sauce. And I'm not making that up. Moon ends up getting involved in gun running and a cache of gold. He picks up a girlfriend called Angel, played by Luann Peters, who later appeared in the 1980s Australian exploitation film Pacific Banana. And he even sleeps with a guy he meets in a gay bar to get some information out of him. And he also shoots a killer in a churchyard. There are a few production values here because the action moves to Tunisia. where Moon and Angel go in search of the gold and the guns. They tool around North Africa in a combi van they stole from a pop group called Flossie and the Crunch. Moon and Angel get some romantic dialogue on a beach, but you can tell he's not really into it. Maybe he's thinking of the guy he nailed, who has a Boys in the Band poster on the wall of his bedroom. Moon and Angel go back to London for a final showdown with the bad guys. Moon is pretty much no better than them, and that dramatic showdown ends up taking place in an underground car park. Man of Violence works in a way. It moves along briskly, it doesn't look like other films of its time, and while the writing is basic at times, the plotting is solid. Michael Adams' Moon is an enigma because the character doesn't let anyone into who he actually is. Pete Walker went on to make gory, sadistic horror films in the 1970s, usually with a fair bit of female nudity.
Dusty substances.
Before his career ended with The House of Long Shadows, where he wasted a fantastic cast on a very ordinary production. But I saved the best for last. The Italian collection, which is also known as La Mala Ordina, Manhunt in the City and Manhunt in Milan, is a no-holds-barred full-on Italian crime drama starring Mario Adolf as Luca Canali, a low-status Milanese pimp who is set up by the local mafia don Vito Trusoldi, played by Adolfo Celli from Thunderball, to take the fall for a missing heroin shipment to the USA. The head of the New York Mafia, Corso, played oddly by Irish actor Cyril Cusack, sends two triggermen to Milan to take out Canali. Catania and Webster, played by Henry Silva and Woody Strode, fly to Milan, liaise with their local contact Ava, played by Luciana Paluzzi, who was also in Thunderball, to track down Canali. Quentin Tarantino has said that his two hitmen in Pulp Fiction, Vincent and Jules, were influenced by Catania and Webster. Luca Canali is divorced from his wife Lucia, played by Silva Cascina, but he loves his little daughter Rita. That makes him vulnerable to Trusoldi. Trusoldi wants to take Canali out before the Americans get him, so he can't tell them he's not responsible for the heroin heist. So he sends some of his thugs to drag in Canali. Problem is that everyone underestimates Canali. He's a street brawler and he's very strong. His anger and pain make him the Milanese version of Bruce Banner. Pissing him off makes him stronger. This film has everything you want in a 1970s action film. Beautiful women, groovy decor, car chases, foot chases, gun action, and a final confrontation between Canali and the two hitmen in a junkyard, which hits all the right buttons. This is the second of director Fernando de Leo's thematically linked Milieu trilogy. The first movie was Caliber 9 and the last one was The Boss. And you should check these out. You will dive down a rabbit hole of 1970s Italian crime dramas. Mario Adolf really commits to the role here. He does some extremely dangerous car stunt work, and Canali headbutts his way through a car windshield at one stage. And he is energetic rage personified. The fact that Adolf is also a very talented actor helps sell the changes that Canali goes through. We also get a really groovy score by Armando Trovaioli, which is a groovy hidden gem of 1970s action movie soundtracks. Before we go, I should mention the death of one of my favourite action movie stars, Jean-Paul Belmondo. People know him from Breathless and That Man from Rio, and a number of other films, including The Burglars, where he does some incredible stunts. Belmondo had been a professional boxer before he went into acting, and he is just a joy to watch in everything he did. He had a self-depreciating sense of humour, he was romantic, he was physically really, really fit. In all of the movies I've seen him in, at least. I always liked him as an actor. We're losing some great talents these days. Of course, that's inevitable as people get older. But yeah, Jean-Paul Belmondo, I will really miss. Thank you very much for watching. As always, please consider subscribing, hitting a thumbs up, hitting the notification bell, and leaving a comment letting me know what you think about these movies. If you haven't seen them, definitely give them a go because they're all entertaining and you should really check them out. By the way, I'm changing the format of the channel a little bit. Saturdays are going to be science fiction in various ways, science fiction, fantasy, horror. And on the Wednesday videos that I do, I'm going to be covering all the other stuff that I want to talk about on the channel. So the people who like the science fiction stuff can still get their fix, and the people who want me to talk about other kinds of movies can always have the Wednesday videos. So please look after yourselves. Stay safe out there in this benighted and very, very weird world. And I'll catch you next time.